My one hope today is that I can be a source of some inspiration. I'm going to address my remarks to anybody who's ever felt inferior or felt disadvantaged, felt screwed by life.
When I first came to Baltimore, I met a friend. She was the wealthiest person I'd ever met. And I went to her house and parked in the driveway. There was a Corvette and there was a BMW and there was a Mercedes. I went, whoa, Arlene's rich. Once I got inside, I could see from her kitchen window 6 trees in the front yard. I thought, oh, rich people have trees. When I get rich, I'm gonna get me some trees. As life would have it, I was standing in my kitchen window about 3 years ago in California, making coffee in the morning, and I was looking out the window and I saw the 6 trees. I went out on the porch to actually count the 6 trees, and this is what I noticed. I dreamed the 6. That's as much as my small mind and my imagination could hold for myself. But beyond the 6 trees in my kitchen window are 3,687 trees. How do I know? Because I had them counted. I am living the dream. And I want you to live the dream, because I'm not living the dream because I'm special. I'm living the dream because I was obedient to the call of the dream. There was a bigger dream for me. And I'm here to tell you there is a bigger dream for you. Often when I'm introduced, people say things like how many awards I've gotten. A lot of them, thank you very much. And they say how many years I did the Oprah show and all the accomplishments that go on people's lists.
But the challenge of life, I have found, is to build a resume that doesn't simply tell a story about what you want to be, but it's a story about who you want to be. A story that's not just a collection of titles and positions, but a story that's really about your purpose. Because when you inevitably stumble and find yourself stuck in a hole, that is the story that will get you out.
When I was about 8 years old, I grew up in the church, and I was going to one of those Women's Day. The little girl that was supposed to be there to do a recitation had gotten ill. And so they said to my stepmother, we need a little girl. Can Oprah come back and do a recitation this afternoon? By 4 o'clock, I had gone home and learned to recite Invictus by William Ernest Henley. I didn't know what I was saying. But at the end of the poem, there's the stanza that says, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Now, my little 8-year-old brain didn't really fully understand the power and depth of those words, but they sounded good enough for me to write them down and put them on my mirror. What it said is, I am responsible for the choices that I make in my life. I am responsible. The third law of motion in physics says, for every action, it's called Newton's law, and it says for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Every action, bam, there is an equal and opposite reaction. It means no matter what you do, the energy of what you do, what you say, is going out into the world, into your home, into your relationships, and that energy is always coming back to you. I am the person who gets to control what comes back to me based upon what I'm putting out. So when I figured that out, oh, what I'm putting out is what's coming back, let me get real clear about what it is I'm putting out. Real clear. Before you even think about a thing, you have an intention for the thing. And that the intention is going to determine the outcome. So when I figured that out, I went, whoa. I changed everything I did on my show. I called in the producers and I said, from this day forward, I will no longer be speaking to people who are fighting each other in a way that it is damaging to the character of myself and other people who watch. From this day forward, I am only going to do intentional television. Every single day, I would have a pre-show meeting and have the producers come in and state to me, what is your intention? How do we want to use whatever is happening on this show to serve the audience in a way that fulfills the mission of uplifting, enlightening, encouraging, as well as entertaining? And if it doesn't do that, then I can't do it. I can't put my name on it. I don't do anything without thinking about what is the real reason, what is the energy of my intention that's going to go into my thoughts and action and then be returned back to me. And I've used that principle for every area of my life. I don't do anything, and I ask that you consider not doing anything that you don't truly intend. So often we spend our lives wishing and hoping and hoping and wishing and desiring things. This is what I know for sure. You don't get what you wish for. You don't even get what you hope for. You get what you believe. The power of your story lies in your personal intention. You have no power in any territory other than your own. And you get no credit messing in somebody else's territory or trying to have power over something you have no control. It's a shift in the way you see yourself and the power from which you have come. If you're able to lean into the dream that the universe and all the forces of light and love and power and grace has for you, nobody can touch you. Nobody can touch you. You get to be the master of your own fate. You get to be the captain of your own soul. And if you just manage that, oh, the glorious, 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 wondrous, wondrous opportunities and possibilities that are waiting for you. So the question is, what are you resisting? What are you blocking because you have this idea of who and what you're supposed to be, instead of leaning into the dream that's already been created and waiting for you? It's waiting for you. Everybody works hard, and everybody has their own dreams. There was a time where I used to spend a lot of energy wanting things. Things are nice, I like them. But this is what I learned. When you can surrender to the dream, you get to live in the space of the higher power. You get to live in the space that you purposefully have come to earth to claim for yourself.
My television career began unexpectedly. I was in the Miss Fire Prevention contest. That was when I was 16 years old in Nashville, Tennessee. During the question and answer period, the question came, "Why, young lady, what would you like to be when you grow up?" And by the time they got to me, all the good answers were gone. And so I answered, "I would like to be a journalist. I would like to tell other people's stories in a way that makes a difference in their lives and the world." Well, I was on television by the time I was 19 years old. First, I was nervous about the competition, and then I became my own competition, raising the bar every year, pushing myself as hard as I knew. Eventually, we did make it to the top, and we stayed there for 25 years. It doesn't matter how far you might rise. At some point, you are bound to stumble, because if you're constantly doing what we do, raising the bar, the law of averages, not to mention the myth of Icarus, predicts that you will at some point fall. And when you do, I want you to know this, remember this, there is no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in another direction. And when you're down in the hole, when that moment comes, it's really okay to feel bad for a little while. Give yourself time to mourn what you think you may have lost. But then, here's the key. Learn from every mistake. And the key to life is to develop an internal, moral, emotional GPS that can tell you which way to go. What is your true calling? What is your dharma? What is your purpose? For me, that discovery came in 1994 when I interviewed a little girl who had decided to collect pocket change in order to help other people in need. So I asked for our viewers to take up their own change collection. And in 1 month, just from pennies and nickels and dimes, we raised more than $3 million that we used to send one student from every state in the United States to college. It didn't just change the lives of those who were helped, but the lives of those who also did the helping. It helped me to decide that I wasn't just going to be on TV every day, but that the goal of my shows, my interviews, my business would be to make clear that what unites us is ultimately far more redeeming and compelling than anything that separates me. It isn't always clear in the beginning because, as I said, I've been on television since I was 19 years old. So don't expect the clarity to come all at once, to know your purpose right away. But what became clear to me was that I was here on earth to use television and not be used by it.